Not everyone is cut out to be, particularly on the help desk side of things. I'm not a huge fan of hiring right out of college. I just think for managed service providers, even our tier ones are like enterprise tier two type employees. I like them to have some sort of experience working in some sort of a support role so that they at least know what they're getting into and they have some basis of knowledge. I think it just takes an awful long time to get people up to speed. That said, in a large MSP, one of the kind of roles when you put together a help desk that I recommend is having a triage role where you're essentially triaging tickets, maybe doing password resets, very lightweight kind of ticket resolution. So that's a place to bring somebody in that is very green, put them in there and kind of create a situation where they're around things, around the operation, and potentially have the ability to kind of grow into a tier one or what I would call probably a tier half type of a help desk role. Particularly in smaller companies, I think it's just so much overhead in hiring those kind of entry level, very green techs. It's tough to do. I will also say, and I don't think a lot of companies kind of think this through, is that there are two very, very different mindsets and personality types inside of a managed services company, at least two, potentially three in a larger company on the technical side. I think that professional services type techs, so the ones that do projects, and by the way, this is, our industry typically hired these types of people because a lot of companies came from that VAR project type of business. We hired people that kind of have the thrill of the fight, they're firefighters. They like to run in, do a project, be the hero, and then run out and go do something different the next day. It's just what kind of gets their blood pumping. That type of mentality really burns out quickly when you put them on a help desk where they're essentially dealing with the same problem. It's kind of a constant fire hose of issues all day long. They typically don't do well in that environment. Whereas the typical mentality or personality type around help desk is somebody that potentially has worked in enterprise on a help desk, is used to kind of just dealing with that nonstop flow of problems where they sit down, they plug in, they do their thing all day long, and at the end of the day, they're able to kind of clock out, go home, and come back the next day and do it again. That personality type is not usually very good at professional services, where they now are the firefighter, they do the project, then the next day they're doing something 100% different that maybe they've got to do a little studying for, or prep for, to get that project done. Maybe it's something they haven't really done in the past. Maybe the project plan isn't as complete as they'd like it. So I think recognizing the two personality types. By the way, the third personality type I think that comes into play in a larger MSP is what I would consider the proactive or NOC type person, where they're not dealing too much with the customers. They're more just head down, dealing with computers. They're, excuse the term, maybe the geekier type of tech that we've got out there. That personality type works very well in that NOC setting. So if you start to recognize that there are multiple personality types and start to look for those personality types, which by the way also means getting away from fractional sharing of employees as much as possible. So not having people kind of split their time whenever possible. I think that goes a long way to helping bring people in that thrive and are in the right seat on the bus as they, as you go to market with those services.